Hey guys, welcome back to our second episode. We just are so glad that you guys are here and watching.
Yes, and we appreciate all the feedback that we've
Yes.
been getting and just the support. Honestly,
Yes.
it is making our day, y'all. So
Yes.
thank you so much. And we are excited because today Leigh is sharing her testimony.
Whoop, whoop. I do have a question of the day though.
Okay,
Okay.
let's hear it.
What is your favorite song right now at this moment?
Easy. At the altar.
Oh,
Is that? Don't say that's yours. Is it?
bro,
Is it?
Jaren's so sick of that song. I play it all the time. Played it probably like 3 times yesterday.
It's girl. It's anointed.
Oh my gosh.
It's anointed.
Yeah. Or What a God. Those
You
are
did put me onto that song.
my go-tos.
Yeah.
But What a God and At the Altar.
Just
bring it on.
Come on, somebody.
No. Or when he's like, what a God, what a God.
They can sing, y'all. I don't know if y'all
chill.
I don't know if y'all know, but now you know. Lay can sing. And she don't want to sing, but she do want to sing because she's always singing. Anyways, too much.
Okay.
Not too much on Lay.
All right. Let's get into it. All right. So my testimony. Wow.
Yes.
Where do I start? Lord, look at this. Yes. All right. Sorry. Okay, let's start off first. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. So when I moved to Florida, I hated the idea. I love family. I love my father. I love my mom's side of the family, and it just tore me apart to think that I was never going to see my dad every single day that I used to.
Yeah.
And so I went to Palm Beach Central, freshman and sophomore year, and then
she left us.
Yeah,
she left us. We forgave her.
Sorry. Yeah, Coach Gaffney ended up retiring, and I'm like, no, that's my dog. Like that was my head coach. I loved him so much. And I'm like, if Coach Gaffney's gone, I'm gone.
Period.
And so
Ride or die.
I made that decision. I went and transferred to another high school, Wellington High School, and played basketball there. I think it was like my third game of the season. And listen, y'all, stretch before you play a basketball game. I didn't stretch and I tore my hamstring junior year of high school. And that was really hard just going through that injury. I transferred wanting to play ball, didn't even get to play ball. And so that was my end of my junior year, really. And then senior year comes around and Coach Gaffney comes around and he says that he's going to be the head coach again. And I'm like, well, I'm coming back.
Sure. Let's do it again.
Run it back. And Palm Beach Central was my home. I loved everybody there. I loved Palm Beach Central. And I went back. I graduated from Palm Beach Central. And during senior year, I was dating a guy at the time. And he was being recruited to come to LBC to play basketball. And at that time, you're dating in high school. You want to go everywhere together. And we were like, let's go to college together. Let's go and do it. And
oh no.
And I'm like, yeah, let's look for some schools. And so as he was being recruited, I reached out to the women's head basketball coach and I'm like, hey, just want to know if you're recruiting, would love to be a part of your team, and would love to take a visit sometime. And she got back to me almost right away. And I was like, oh crap, this is actually happening. He ended up going on a visit, didn't end up liking LBC. And I'm like, okay, I'm too deep into the recruiting process. I can't back out now. She bought my flight and everything, y'all. And I was like, let's just do it. So I visit LBC.
Wow.
Meanwhile, I visited a bunch of other schools, probably a handful, maybe 5, and visited LBC. And as soon as I got onto campus, y'all, I felt this overwhelming peace of this is home. Like, this is where you should be.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was not a Christian. I did not grow up in a Christian household. I never went to church. I mean, I went on occasion, maybe Thanksgiving or with my cousins,
Right.
but didn't go every single week. I never even opened up a Bible, y'all. And this is Lancaster Bible College. This is an institute where you learn about Jesus and his word.
Yeah.
And that was new to me. And for
Mhm.
some reason, I felt overwhelming peace. And I'm like, this is home. Far away from home as well. I love my family. Everybody knows I love my family so much that I
Yeah.
hate being away from them. But I made the decision to commit to LBC. And that was the best decision of my life. So the guy that I was talking to, we ended up breaking up. But I still
Hallelujah.
committed to LBC. Hallelujah. And then when we broke up, I started talking to a guy there. The freshman, get on campus. Oh, it's a lovely guy. I like you.
We all do it.
Don't do it. And so I ended up talking to this guy. It wasn't healthy. It was a toxic relationship, but I went through with it. So the whole year I was still not in my Bible. I did not get saved freshman year. I was not close to the Lord, and I was still there. Just the Lord was still having me there for a reason. And then COVID hits.
Yep.
And the school tells us that everybody has to go home. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to go back to LBC. I'm going to go back home to Florida. And so I packed up all my things. Well, actually, shout out to Lady Elise. She packed up my whole dorm room because I could not get back on campus. She's a real one. So she packed up my whole dorm room. I stayed in Florida. And that's when I started my horse business. That's when I started working out every single day. I was also a server at a restaurant, and I was just overworking myself.
Yeah.
But I was home with family. I loved it. But I didn't see Savannah as often. I didn't see India as often. I didn't see my mom. Why? Because I was overworking myself. My mind was, I'm going to get this money and I'm going to do what I have to do for myself.
Yeah.
Lay's
a go-getter, y'all.
Yeah.
She's an entrepreneur. She's literally Oprah Winfrey. Thank you.
Oh my God.
She's a go-getter, okay?
So yeah, COVID hits and I'm just a workaholic at that moment. I think I was so exhausted to the point where I could not wake up. Like my body was still sleeping and my eyes were open, but I couldn't move.
Wow.
Like that's how I was just so exhausted every single day. But I was still pushing through. And COVID year, I met Lady Elise and a good friend of mine, and David, also a good friend of mine. And they were Christians, like they were solid Christians. And I remember during that COVID year, like they were always contacting me. They were always, just spreading the Lord's love, which I didn't know at the time. I just thought like, okay, are they going to judge me for what I'm doing? Are they going to try to get me back there? So push comes to shove. I was going out, getting drunk. I was smoking. I was out until 2 a.m. And I've never done that ever before.
Yeah.
And you can call me goody two shoes, a good child, but even my mom was like, this is not you. Like, this is not who you are. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I want. And I'm grown. And I would pull the I'm grown card. Meanwhile, I'm still living at my mom's house.
Right.
She's paying all the bills.
Right.
Oh, okay. And I thought I was grown.
We do that.
Yeah. And so my mom and I's relationship was not good at the time. And that has never been the case. And so, yeah, I was in that just a really bad group as well. I mean, we would have house parties and we would just do things that we shouldn't have done. And I remember one time when I'm coming back from one of my horse clients, I'm driving and I just feel my heart beating so fast. And I'm like, oh crap, I think I'm having a heart attack. Like that's how bad it was beating.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I literally don't know what to do. I'm shaking. My heart is beating so fast. And I'm like, Mom, like I think I need to go to the doctors. And so I go into like this like minute clinic places, and I get an EKG right then and there because I'm like, I'm having a heart attack. Like there's no way. What is going on?
Yeah.
And EKG comes back fine. And she's like, have you ever like had an anxiety attack before? And I'm like, Not that I know of, no. And she's like, I think you're having an anxiety attack. And I'm
Mm.
like, oh crap.
That's
Like,
crazy.
what does that mean?
Yeah.
And so she referred me to the therapist, and she's like, I would suggest for you to get a therapist. And I'm like,
Mm.
I don't know what you're saying right now. Like, what do you mean I need a therapist? And so I went through with it. I had a therapist because I was so anxious over a lot of things. Now I realize it was true. I did have anxiety, and I still do have anxiety.
Mm.
Um, and so I was talking to a therapist virtually for, I think it was like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped me a lot. I mean, just to
That's
have
good.
somebody there to listen to you. So I went through that, and then the school year is about to begin, and Coach Joy's the new head coach. She contacts me, and she's like, "Lay, like, I want you to come back." Funny, Coach Joy is just, she was like a big mentor to me. She was also my coach, but she's the one that really helped me get into my Bible and start reading it.
Mm.
Junior year is like when really things started to turn around. I would say for me, I was still doing sports highline reporting. Um, and I even did a 21-day fast. Our team did a 21-day fast.
Yes.
And it was like no social media and something else. And I've never done a fast before. And after that fast, I asked Coach Joy, I'm like, Coach, do you think I should get baptized? Like, I really feel like I should get baptized.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she's like, yeah, I think you should do it. And so I would really say that that's when I really gave my life to the Lord, is that moment when I was like, okay, I want to get baptized. I want to give Jesus my all.
Yeah.
Coach Joy actually tells me, she's like, Lay, I think you should stay in Lancaster for the summer. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about?
Why would I do that?
What do you mean? Like, I've been in Pennsylvania for how long? And I'm away
Yeah.
from my family for how long?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so. And I'm like, okay, I'll think about it. And then she continues to tell me, Lay, I think you should stay in Lancaster. I think you should stay in Lancaster. I think it
Yeah.
would really help you and the Lord's relationship. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm praying on it. I'm like, Lord, let your will be done.
Mm.
I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know how I'm going to pay any bills, but let your will be done. And it so happened that a teacher that summer was looking for somebody to house sit. And I didn't know the teacher at all.
Yeah.
And I went with another teammate of mine because that was her professor. And I sat down with them in their house, and they're like, we would love to have you. We would love. So I lived in their basement,
Mm-hmm.
and I was filled with fear. Fear had me gripped and a stronghold. I mean, I would have dreams of pulling my mom out of a car because she got in a car crash and I'm trying to revive her.
Yeah.
I would have people shooting at me. I remember one dream I had, somebody pointing their gun at me and they shot me. And like fearful, like the devil really had his way in my dreams. Now that I think about it, it was all about my family. And so when Coach Joy's like, Lay, I think you should stay in Lancaster, I'm like, no, I need to be closer to my family.
To so protect them almost.
Yeah, I think some of that fear was like, I can't be away from them that long anymore. And yeah, my dreams were people kidnapping me, people wanting to do bad things to me, people doing bad things to my family. Like, it was just terrible. I had to sleep in Faith's room.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. I asked you to come pray over my room.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. And you're like, Lay, it's not your room. It's you. Like, let's pray over you. When Shelby like prayed, we were in prayer for like what, an hour maybe?
Oh, I don't even know.
We were going
it was a long time
at it. But I just felt free. Yeah. Like, you're praying over me, and I'm like, I feel so free right now. This is the most like peace I've ever had.
Yeah.
And so fear really had a grip on me. That's why when I was in that basement and they offered me the basement, I'm like, somebody's gonna come down, somebody's gonna shoot me,
no, like
somebody's gonna kidnap me.
Yeah.
I always thought that somebody was in the house. It was terrible. But I went through with it.
Yeah, you did.
And that summer was me relying on the Lord and saying, Lord, have your way. I'm not going to allow fear to control my life. And every single day I had to trust him. Nobody's in this house. Nobody's trying to kill you. you are safely. Like, I have my angels in this basement protecting you.
Yes.
And I think like the Lord really knew what he was doing when I stayed in that basement, because I overcame fear, and I was
Thank you,
just free in
Jesus.
that. But also that fire for the Lord was strong. I was in my Bible every day. I was constantly in prayer. I love worship. I was constantly screaming and yelling in their house because I love worship so much. And so I stayed, and then senior year comes around, and Coach Joy leaves, and I was like, I'm not playing basketball anymore. Like, I did not want to play basketball. If she's gone, I'm gone. And it was a repeat of high school, y'all. When I tell you, when I transferred, because my head coach transferred from high school, and part two in college, like my mentor, one of my greatest head coaches, she's leaving. Y'all, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
It was like back to back. And so I had to make a decision. I was like, am I going to stay or am I going to leave like I did in high school? And so I decided to stay. And how would you, last year, like last
Junior going into senior?
junior going into senior year.
That summer.
Yes, that summer.
Okay.
Yes. Junior year going into senior year, that summer was when I was starting to like end things with my ex. And that's when I went to Florida, and that's when I was like, God, I don't know what to do. I need you to help me. Do I stay another summer in Lancaster? Do I break up with him? Do I leave my family?
Yeah.
And I go to your church at the time, and pastor single-handedly comes up to me. This is my first time stepping into that church, y'all.
Yeah.
Single-handedly comes up to me in church, puts the microphone down, and says, listen, I don't know who you are, but the Lord is telling me to tell you to leave them. And he was also telling me a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is an answer to prayer. I know exactly what he's saying. The Lord is telling me to leave my family to stay in Lancaster. The Lord is telling me to leave my ex because we are not equally yoked. And so that was a really hard decision to make for both, again. And so that summer, I decided to break up with him and to really follow Jesus, y'all, like really follow him. Yeah. And so I'm in the basement again, and I'm just every single day waking up in prayer, in the Word. And I think it wasn't even like a month later that I go into the gym and I meet Micah Jack. Shout out to Micah Jack. And I'm like, hey, Micah, like, do you know of any Bible studies here in Lancaster?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, actually, I do. Like, my church has one. Also, Jaron he goes to one at the Well. It's in Millersville. I don't know if you know where that is. I'm like, no, like, I don't know where that is. Meanwhile, Jaron and I
been going to college together
for 4 years.
Yeah.
And we've never like had a straight on conversation with each other.
Which is hilarious.
But our friend groups knew each other.
Yeah.
Like, I was around him, but with another person. But Jaron was there as well. And so I get Jaron's number and I text him and I'm like, it's a Thursday at that time. It's so funny to say. It's a Thursday at that time. That's when the Well has their Bible studies. And I'm like, hey, Micah told me you had a Bible study that you go to. I would love to go because I'm here during the summer. And so he's like, hey, Well starts at 7 p.m. Come on over. And I'm like, okay. And so I go to the Well, and that's when like Jaron and I first like connect. And we're playing pool. We're just getting to know each other, and day ends. We connect at the Eden. We have an hour sit down conversation about our testimonies, y'all. And this is what, third day that I've known the guy, and we stand up and we're saying bye to each other, and he's like, hey, are you still dating so and so? And I'm like, no. Are you still dating so and so?
Nah, that's crazy.
Because we did not know, but we kind of had an idea, but we didn't know.
But you guys were both in like pretty long-term relationships that ended very similar times.
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
Jesus.
Yes. Very similar times. I think Jaron and I connected like late May, and his relationship ended a month before. my relationship ended a month before. Like,
Yeah.
very, very similar. And we were both like, no, we're not talking to so and so. And that was like a check mark in both of our heads. And he wouldn't say it, but it was. It was. And so I met Jaron. We start talking. We start going on a lot of dates. We start, okay, like, this could be something. Like, the Lord is really moving in this relationship. And he asked me out July 2nd at 9:30 p.m. in the car while we were worshiping.
That's crazy.
Oh, man. He asked me out. We start dating. And I'm like, wow, this was fast from one relationship to the other. Lord, like, are you in this? Are you in our relationship? Please guide us. Please, Lord, let your will be done.
Yeah.
And so we start dating. School comes around. Everything is perfect. And we're still like, Lord, let your will be done. A question that I get asked the most: how did you know? What was the confirmation? The Lord confirmed it. Other people around us confirmed it. But most of all, we had a peace between us that we knew, okay, this relationship is, the foundation is Jesus. All right. Like, we are good. Like, the Lord,
make it.
yeah, the Lord gave us confirmation for real.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was the first time like I was in a healthy relationship. Like, the guy was head over heels for Jesus, and myself, which was so, so relieving.
Yeah.
And so we keep pushing. Engagement is getting talked about. People say, why so soon? When you know, you know. Like,
When you know,
when
you know. Okay.
That's me. When you know.
Okay.
Yeah. And so February comes around. He proposes in the most beautiful way possible. And then we plan a wedding in less than 6 months. And we get married on August 9th. And now we're here. We're in a beautiful apartment, y'all. And I would never tell you once ever that my goal is to get married, to have kids, to follow Jesus, to start a Bible study in our home, to one day want to start a church.
Yeah.
Like, if y'all knew me back when, no.
Can you speak on like you're the fire starter in your family?
Yeah.
This is like my favorite part of your testimony.
Yeah.
Please, can you speak on like, you already said, you didn't grow up in a Christian home, but like what marriage looked like for you, like just your ideology of those things and how they changed like once Jesus was in your life.
Yeah, so I was not grown up in a two couple household. My dad is married to somebody else. My mom is a single mom. So when I was little, marriage was never something, was the goal. And so now being in a solid relationship, heading towards engagement, heading towards marriage, it was like, God, like, am I fit for this? Am I worthy of this? And am I ready? And I think that was something that I had to wrestle through. And the enemy was still pouring in lies like, you're not ready, you're too young, you've never seen this done before, you can't do it yourself. And so really having the Lord with me was like, God, it's your will. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to do it with you because you are going to teach me your ways. And so I think that's the only reason why I'm here. And that's the only reason how I'm surviving. Because I can't teach myself how to be a good wife. Like, I never saw it grown up in my household, so I never had a picture and goal of that's who I want to be. And so following Jesus helped me with that. But when you have a good husband, when you have a husband who follows the Lord,
about it.
When you have a husband who is devoted to the word and who wants to love on you how Jesus loves you, is easy. And I think also another part is I had a mentor, still do have a mentor, and she helped me. I mean, her marriage is something that I love. They both love Jesus. They both love their kids. They both serve the Lord in their house unconditionally. Like, the Holy Spirit is walking with them everywhere that they go. And so from having a mentor to them counsel us before we were engaged, and then we did premarital counseling with them, and then they married us. And so having that wise counsel as well really helped us, but also really helped me in saying, oh, I am fit for this. I can do this. Like, if the Lord's calling me to it, then I am fit for this.
Yeah.
And so,
I love that we talked about this. Like our pastor has said like this certain person was like the fire starter in their family. And I literally like I could tear up like and I look at Lane, I'm like, that's you. That's you.
Yeah.
You're the fire starter of your family.
I think also too, just to see how like people always say like go to college, get your degree, like go make a living out of your degree. And I've said this once and I always say it and I will always say it. It was never about the degree.
Wow.
It was about the degree of salvation.
Come on, so
it was about knowing Jesus.
Yeah.
It was about getting saved, giving my life to Jesus. And now I have a husband and we have a beautiful apartment and we are starting Bible studies every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. If you guys want to come, text me, shoot me a text.
Let her know.
Shout out to the Bible study. Thank you.
I love you.
Love you too.
Oh, I love you, Testimony. Well, yeah, guys. We did it. We did it. We shared. Hallelujah. We were open. We were vulnerable. Please keep hitting us up.
Yes.
DMing us. If you have our numbers, text us. Whatever. You know, we have our personal accounts on there.
Yes.
Please keep reaching out to us. We love to hear your guys' stories and your testimonies and how you were encouraged. And I feel like your testimony is going to encourage so many people.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to hear about it.
Thank you.
But yeah, if you guys want to leave a comment, let us know what you want us to do next. We have some plans, but we do want to hear from you guys. Like
any topics?
Yeah, we're doing this for y'all. Honestly.
Yeah.
So let us know. And we will see you next Saturday.
We love you.
Love you. Bye. Bye.